wants to know my top secret teacup technique? And someone responded, and I respond to the masses. Today I have grabbed some teacups and mugs from my cabinet, and we're gonna paint some teacups together because what else could you want to do on a Monday morning? So these are the teacups that I grabbed. I'm gonna call them teacups even though technically some of them are mugs. But first, if you are just now finding this video and you're new to my channel, hi! My name is Jen Carmiel. I am a painter and an artist. I absolutely love everything cozy, cute, and fun. I think if you're gonna beautify your space, it better be cute. So words of wisdom right there. If you're interested in collecting any original artwork or art prints, I do have some available in my online shop, so you can follow the link below and have them mailed to your doorstep. A lot of people say they look good in kitchens. Someone recently bought one for a bathroom, which is super fun. My work is all about finding beauty in the small things in life. Without further ado, let's talk about these teacups. So, one of the most important things when you are painting and learning to paint specifically is you have one of two things you can do to draw reference from, because that's what drawing is, right? It's drawing reference from something and attempting to replicate that something on a two-dimensional surface. One of two options for pulling references. You can either find a photograph online, take it yourself, draw from a photograph, or you can draw from the 3D in front of you. I always recommend that if you're learning to draw something, to draw from the 3D in front of you, because you get so much more information from looking at this than a photo of this. So what happens is that photograph will condense the drawing into a 2D surface for you already, and you will be pulling much less information from that photograph than you would pull from the real life thing. Something that a professor said to me at one point in time is, if you make a bad drawing of a bad drawing, you'll have a worse drawing. What that's talking about is choosing your reference carefully, making sure that you're drawing from a reference that has a lot of information there already. Because if you choose a reference that is a drawing or a photograph, you're already losing information, and that's going to translate in your drawing. So go around your house, find some cute mugs, meet me back here. Welcome, welcome. I hope you have some cute mugs with you. Well, I'm gonna show you some of mine. So the first one is just a generic mug. It says, "I'm here, I'm awake, don't push it." One of my favorites. But it's very tall and cylindrical. There's not much wobbliness to it, so that's the reason why I chose this one. The next one is a bit shorter in comparison, and this one does have a little bit of an angle to it, so it comes out this way and then goes in this way. So comparing these two, they're a little bit different in shape. I thought that would be fun to compare. And then we also have this teacup. Beautiful! This one's an actual teacup. It has a cute little... And I have more teacups than just this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna grab a teacup. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so this guy is kind of a tall teacup. He's still kind of thin, and compared to the others, he has way more wobbliness going on. I love the wobbliness. It's gonna be beautiful. We love that. Also has some cute designs on it. And then, once we get my kitty's hair out of this one, we have an actual teacup. Beautiful! And this one comes with a little plate, and these are going to be our reference photos today. So what are we doing? Let's get started. So I'm gonna start with the tall teacup. I'm gonna call them all teacups, even though they're mugs. I'm gonna start with this tall teacup first. I have some half sheets of watercolor paper right here. So I just took a straight edge cutter and went chop right down the middle. So these used to be 9 by 12. Now they are half of that. Don't ask me to do math in the morning. How dare you, dear sir. So we're starting with the tall teacup first. First thing I'm gonna do is find my dominant color that I want to paint with. I always like to use red as my dominant color. This dominant color, so to speak, is going to be what you draw with. It's going to be your pencil, so to say. If you are feeling a little bit new with watercolors and you want to start with pencil instead, you're more than welcome to. I am just gonna start with my paint because I'm a messy person. And I like my messiness to show through. I feel like that's half the fun. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this oval shape at the top. And whoop, you're just gonna make a little little wobbly oval because that's how I feel like things look best. And then a straight line down, beautiful. Straight line down again, and then a curved bottom, like that. Don't feel too pressured to connect all your shapes. I feel like things look better when they're just chilling. So I'm gonna let this guy just chill. After that, you have a little C shape, like a backward C. Just like that. How gorgeous and beautiful. We love that. She's really doing her best life, living her best life. We love it. How nice, beautiful. There you go. It's simple, just like that. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill in this shape. I always like to fill in my shapes with a different color. So I'm gonna use blue. I'm gonna go inside and do my absolute best not to touch the edges of my teacup. Here we go. In order to get some dimension inside that color, I'm gonna pull from, let's see. There we go. In order to get some dimension inside my color, I'm gonna pull some straight pigment. And when I use the word pigment, I mean this side is pigment. The side of your watercolor is your pigment for your straight, concentrated color. You water down the pigment with water. So most times you paint with a mixture of pigment and water. Sometimes I just grab straight pigment as much as I can and I touch the edges like that. You see how cool that looks? Like how much it just brings in that contrast? That's what I'm looking for. And then I can grab water apart from that and drag it around to where I want it to be. The messier the better, I'm telling you. The messier the better. She's just chilling, she's beauty, she's grace. Whoop. See, I touched the edge there, but we're gonna pretend like that's on purpose because, or am I gonna try to pick it up? I'm just gonna grab a little paper towel and I'm gonna go whop, whop, whop. There we go, good enough. Wash that guy off and try again. How nice is that? You can just try again. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just like life? When things don't quite go your way, you can just try again. That's why I love art. There we go. We love it. How gorgeous is that? So now I want to add a little bit of a drop shadow to the edge of this teacup to kind of give it a little bit of weight on the page, give it a little bit of context to where it exists. So I'm going to use some swoopy motions right below it with that pigment, and then I'm going to completely clean off my brush. And I'm going to use water to push it to the edge of my teacup. Again, I'm going to be careful not to touch my two shapes because I just like how it looks, and that's a good enough excuse. And that's a good enough explanation, maybe I should say. There we go. How gorgeous. Oh my gosh, yes. That's exactly what I want. He's beautiful. Okay. Some nice swoopiness in there. Boom, teacup, right there. There you go, there you go. So the key characteristics of this teacup is going to be the straightness of the edges. So there you go. Teacup and around. Let's move on to our next teacup. So next one is this guy. He's gonna be a little bit shorter and have a little bit more give to the edges. Has a little quote on it too. Maybe I'll paint the quote, because one of the most fun things about painting an abstraction, because that's what we're doing here, right? We're not painting a photorealistic cup. We're painting an abstracted version of a cup. And when you abstract, you get a lot of choices in what you get to do with your art. So when I look at this mug, I get to say, do I want to put the words on it? Do I want to keep the color the same? Do I want to change the color? So you get to choose in your painting what's rooted in reality and what becomes your own. So just keep that in mind. Anything, the sky's the limit, whatever you want to do. It's really awesome. Let's grab another piece of paper. I'm gonna choose my same red color to draw with. I think I might give it a little bit of an orange hue though. I'm going to take a little bit of this burnt sienna and white, and I'm going to add that into there. Just kind of give it a little bit more of a delicate feel. And I'm going to start same exact place. You'll notice that if you have a tall and a small cup next to each other, your tall cup is going to have a smaller circle at the top than your short cup. And the reason for that is because your eye level's higher. So you're going to see more of an opening. So if you're trying to draw or paint a tall cup next to a short cup. Alrighty, let's do this thing. Here we go. Yeah, I love this color a lot better. It's kind of like a burnt sienna orangey color. Just feels a little bit more gentle. And the important thing when drawing this circle, in drawing all your teacups in general, is going to be finding your symmetry. So you want to make sure that if you were to mentally divide your drawing in half, the right side looks the same as the left side, and that does take a lot of practice. So if it doesn't quite look like that immediately, shake it off. Just keep going. Just keep swimming, because you'll get there, I promise. So now, it's extremely subtle, but this teacup has a little bit of a slanted edge, so that's what I'm going to draw. I'm going to do like a little bit of a slant. Yes! Beautiful. That's exactly what I want. A little bit of a slant this way. And then it's going to come in. You know what I'm thinking actually? I think that this is actually a little bit shorter. See, and what I love about painting with watercolors is I feel like it gives the painting more energy. So what I'm doing here is I realize I don't want that line to go so long. I made little puddles of water and rubbed circles, and then I just pick it right back up. See, you don't even gotta worry. You do not gotta worry. This is just paint, it's just fun. So if it doesn't look right, it's okay, girlfriend. It is a-okay. So I'm actually gonna end that a little bit sooner. Yeah, that looks a little bit better to me. There you go. And I feel like with drawing with the paint, it just has certain energy that, you know, makes my heart go boom boom, and that's what art's all about. So this time there's a lip underneath the cup, so I'm gonna draw 2 lines. So here's my first line, and then my bottom one's right below it. I actually ended up just drawing 1 thick shaded line, which also works. Let's do that. How beautiful! Yes! And I think I'm gonna add a little bit more shading to this as well. So instead of coloring it in with a different color, I'm gonna use the same color and draw in my shadow, because that's what I feel like doing with this guy. And the fun thing is, you can do something different with every single teacup, because this is what life's all about, painting teacups. You heard it here first, folks. Alrighty, I'm gonna choose maybe a little bit more pigment. I really wish I had more red. I used up all my red, and it's gonna have to be okay. I'm gonna order some more watercolor paints here shortly, but here you go. That's what I'm talking about. So this handle is a little bit more on the square side than a curvy side, so I'm gonna let that kind of show through. I think I actually did a squarey handle over there too, but that's all right. I don't think he minds all that much. Maybe he even likes the square handle life. Who knows? There we go. We got some handles in the house. We love that. Nice. I'm actually noticing some darkness here, so I'm gonna add that in there too. So what I'm noticing with this guy is it just instinctively became not more realistic, but a little bit more grounded in realism, which is okay with me. Or is it? Maybe I'm not liking this guy. Maybe this guy is on my nerves, and that's okay. If they're ever on your nerves, new page, new guy. Don't even gotta worry about it. And this guy's on my nerves. So I'm gonna grab more of this. I'm gonna draw my little drop shadow. This time my shadow is gonna go the other way. Otherwise, my shadows are gonna just be all over the place and weird. Here we go. But I am gonna say I'm not feeling the vibes with this one as much, and that's okay. Sometimes you make paintings that you like, sometimes you make paintings you don't entirely like, and that's just part of the process. If anyone tells you otherwise, they are lying to you. So I'm not gonna worry too much. If I don't like a painting, I just move on. But because I'm filming this for you guys, I'm gonna keep working on it a little bit. Let's see. What if, because I feel like my dissatisfaction with this painting is how much it's trying to be like the real cup and how much it's failing at doing that. And when that happens, it usually means I need a little bit more fun involved, a little bit more abstraction. So what can I add to this to give it that more fun? I'm gonna grab some yellow actually. And I'm gonna put some nice yellow squiggles behind it. There we go. See, that looks a little bit better because I feel like it was just lacking life. And life is spontaneous play. That's my theory about life, is that it's spontaneous. And people try to tell you you can have your life figured out, but they're liars too, because no one ever has life figured out. It's the ego that wants you to have life figured out, but no one will ever have it figured out. And that's one of the fun things about life. So that little squiggle makes me feel a little bit better about myself. I'm going to add a little bit here. Yeah, these colors are working. I like them, they're fine. Still not my favorite painting, but that's okay, it doesn't have to be. I'm going to write the little love ya mean it. Love ya. See, because I'm impatient, I didn't wait for it to dry. Do I want to wait for it to dry? Here. You can tell I'm not a natural watercolor painter. That usually, like, I am an oil painter because I just like to make moves and like take them back if I don't feel like it's working. That's okay. Yeah, see, it wants to dry. So what I think I'll do is I'll add the text after this dries. Yeah, that's gonna have to be what I do. So I'm gonna come back to this guy when he dries and I'm gonna put the text over top. For now, let's move on to a new teacup. Alrighty. Here's a new teacup for you. This guy has a little bit of both going on. So he has a little bit of tallness and a little bit of squiggliness, which are very scientific terms in case you didn't know, and the definitions of which being tall, squiggly. You never thought you'd be learning vocab with me, huh? Alrighty, so what do I want to do with this teacup? I usually use this like orangey red base to draw with, but what if I did something else? I could do something else if I wanted to do something else, but do I want to do something else? My instinct says no, it wants to stay with the red. So that's what I'm gonna do. So for this teacup, I think I'm gonna work a little bit quicker and a little bit more fluid. I think I want the energy imbued into this teacup. So with those first two, I was a little bit more calculated, like let's make this, let's make that, and I was a little bit more looking at it. I want this drawing to feel like how the teacup feels. You can quote me right there. Okay, let's do this. So I'm gonna be quick and fluid. Less thought, more action. Like all good things in life. Let's do it. So my first thought is this guy looks a little bit more like a vase than a teacup. Looks more like a vase than a teacup to me. But do I like it? I think I'm gonna try one more time. So when you work fluidly and quickly like this, you'll have to have multiple sheets of paper and ready to just keep going. And that's the most fun thing about art to me, is it's important not to get attached to the actual drawings and things that you're making, because that's not the art. The art is the moment you decide to sit down and create something. That is the art. And that's where the magic and the energy will flow through you from. So let's do this again. I think I'm gonna make it smaller so that if I wanna do it again, I could do it again right next to it, and kind of feel out what kind of lines I want, so that when I grab another sheet of paper, I can do that with a little bit more planning. That's the really fun thing about these spontaneous abstract paintings, is they look so effortless. They look like one line, shoop, shoop, shoop. But in reality, a lot of times you have to practice making that line over and over and over before you decide on the energy that line will hold for you. So that's what's happening here, is I'm practicing that line over and over and over a couple times until I get to the one that's right, that has the magic. So let's find the magic, folks. Let's see, do I want one like this? See, the thing is it's a little bit tall. It's a little bit tall here. But you'll notice how much more free these cups feel than the others. Like, that's why I'm in love with painting. I think I might actually introduce the other teacup here as well. So what we're doing here is just a nice speed painting of these teacups. Not caring too much about what comes out, just kind of painting our teacups. We love our teacups, we love our teacups. I'm gonna grab my other teacup actually, because I want to do the same thing but with this shape instead. So I want this shape. I don't want that small, I don't want the tall guy. Because I feel like the tall guy is reading a little bit too much like flower vase instead of teacup. And that's not what I want. So I'm gonna change my reference to better suit the effect that I want. Now this teacup's a little bit too low. I want it at like eye level, I think. Now let's practice this guy. So this top line is a lot flatter. See, and this is my favorite teacup shape. This is the most marvelous teacup shape around. This is the teacup that is flat, wide. Hey, Tazo. This is the teacup shape that I like. And I want to get that energy of the natural world in there, but I also want the suggestion of the artist. That's what I sort of call this. Let's get some blue in there. Yes, that's my teacup. That is my teacup. Yes, that is my teacup. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a larger teacup just as practice right here. And I'm gonna have that looseness that I love, and the teacup will be born. There we go, that's my teacup. That is my teacup. Nice, that is exactly what I want. So you kind of notice that we went from less abstract to more abstract, less free to more free, and that is on purpose. Or is it? I don't know. Could also just be because those first couple felt like more warm-up sketches to me. Here we go. I'm kind of filling in the bottom area, and now let me grab some blue. Do not touch my edge. And then I want to add a little dimension, so we're going to add more pigment and touch the edge of that blue shape to add dimension to this blue. You see what I'm doing? You see how that works? That is so fun. A little bit of yellow too, because in order to have an interesting painting, you need contrast. That's just a fact. So find contrast however and wherever you can, in whatever way makes your heart happy. There we go. That's my little teacup. So now that we have practiced making some teacups, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make one large painting incorporating some teacups, flower vases, all that kinds of fun stuff. So since we have warmed up with watching the natural world and emulating the natural world, now we have some information in what I call our memory bank to grab from when we paint from our imagination. So I am going to go ahead and grab a new sheet of paper, and I'm gonna allow myself a little bit more freedom and guidance to paint as imaginatively as I would like to. So what that means is whatever changes I want to make, I give myself permission to. Whatever feelings come out in this painting, I allow myself that liberty as well. Because now it's just between me and the painting. And how beautiful is that? So I'm gonna to mix up my dominant color. Maybe there should be a different word for that. It's not really a dominant color, it's just the color that you draw with. So I think I'm gonna like this better, this like orangey color better. And first I'm going to think about where I want all of these pieces to exist. So sometimes I'll use a photo reference, sometimes I'll just work from my imagination. Today we're working from the imagination. I will say that when you do use a photo reference, you get a lot more detail and visual interest because you have more guidance as to what should exist in this world that you're painting. But today I am just going to paint from the imagination. Let's do this thing. So first I'm going to decide about where this horizon line is. I think I'm going to put it here. And I'm just going to draw little dots to kind of map out what I want to exist in this painting. So I think that looks nice. And in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the rest of the painting here. So if you're not at this point yet where you can create a world from your imagination, I highly do recommend using a reference drawing. All artists draw primarily with references in the beginning of their career, and throughout it. So let's see. I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna draw my little swoop. Do I like this orange? This orange is giving me bad vibes. I don't like orange as a color. I'm gonna make some more red happen because that's not my vibe. This is not my world. Yeah, I'd rather have purple. So the most important thing to me right now is that this painting feels free. How can I capture freeness in my painting? I ask myself. I think I'll add a little teacup, something like this here. There we go. Maybe even some little plates. And I think I'll name this something like a tea party, right? There's a little tea party going on. How nice. So what else do I want here? I think I'll put maybe a vase here. Yes, I would like a vase, please. One vase coming up. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. So what I just did there is I did one very pigmented line, and then I grabbed clean water and dragged that line where I want it. And what that does is it kind of creates this shadowed shape for you, and it does a lot of the work for you. You don't have to say, okay, I'm gonna shade my line now. Instead, what happens is this water just pulls that shape exactly where you need it to be. And how beautiful is that? That it helps you out that way. I love that. There we go. There's also an element to painting where the more majority of color you have in a painting is what creates this unity within it. So the longer I can stay in my dominant color, the longer I can stay in this color that I'm drawing with, the better. So what I would encourage you to do is if you're painting along to this or painting on your own, try to pick one color and stay within it for as long as you physically can until you're like, I really need another color. And even when you're there, say, I'm gonna force myself to stay in my one color. How far can I push this color in terms of watering it down, darkening it up, creating dimension within my one color until you finally move to a new color. And that will become the garnish on your painting, so to say. That way, there's some element of unity there. I'm gonna add a little croissant. Do I like this squiggle? Yes, oh my gosh. Yes, I do like this squiggle, thank you very much. That is a nice squiggle. Sometimes some squiggles are better than other squiggles. The ones who get it, get it. The ones who don't, don't. That's all I can say. So because this color is a little bit more purple than I wanted, I'm going over top of that line I just created, and I'm adding some orangey redness in there because it's not exactly the color I want. It's a little bit too far away from that dominant color I chose. And the difficult part sometimes with this is that first line was created very organically and freely, and when I go over top of it, it's going to be a little bit hard to replicate that free feeling of that line just going wild. So it takes practice for sure. Here we go. Ah, yes, this is exactly what I like to happen. I'm going to give it a little plate to exist on. Yes, I like that too. Whenever I'm making moves with this painting, I'm always asking myself, do I like this? Is this happening in the way that I enjoy and that I like? Because if not, something's got to change. Your world in painting should be exactly everything that you like. It's the one place where everything happens exactly as you permit it. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more lines here. Because I'm really liking this like choppy line feeling. I'm going to add the edge of a table. So it's kind of like there's this tea party happening and there's this table here. Put maybe some napkins underneath these cups. Or no, that is a fork or a spoon or something. That's what I want that to be. So now let me draw a napkin here. And I'm just sort of letting myself work and not expecting too much about what comes out. Sometimes I trust the painting to reveal what it wants to be to me, you know? Like, I don't need to figure this out. My painting knows what it needs to be. And that's the fun part. So let's see. Flowers. So here. So with my flowers, sometimes I just do a little splotchy splotch. Other times I try to replicate a rose or some specific flower. So I'm feeling splotchy splotches, specifically because I don't have a reference. If I'm drawing a specific kind of flower, obviously I would need some sort of reference there. But I'm okay with just whatever this chooses to be. Right now, in this moment, I'm feeling the urge to grab another color. This is the moment I tell myself no. So that instead of moving into that color, I'm going to force myself to stay in my dominant color just a little bit longer. Say, how long can I stand this? So that I have the utmost form of unity in my painting. Some flowers over this way too. Like someone just put some flowers out onto the table. How nice would that be? I think I'm gonna add some flowers here too. How nice is that? And now I'm gonna add maybe some picture frames in the background. So this is just a little box guy. It was a little slanty because he got too far away from me. So if he's too slanty and I don't want that, I'm going to circle. Well, clean water and circles. And then I'm going to pick it back up. See, you do not gotta worry. The amount of worry that is necessary to feel in painting is very minimal. If you're worried, you're doing it wrong. Just kidding, there's no way to do this wrong. Sometimes you just feel worried. And that's just how life goes. Here we go. That is what I want. That is the line that I want there. There we go. And how you get these nice straight lines is you move your arm instead of your hand and your wrist. Because if I'm going like this, that is what's getting me my straight line. If I'm going like this, notice there's a curve in your wrist. It becomes like a compass that you're drawing with. Have you ever had those like little pencil things and then you draw with a circle? That's what your wrist does. But if you draw with your arm, that is what's gonna give you that nice straight line that you want. So I think I've practiced self-denial just enough so I can add some more color into this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my stems for my flowers because that's where I first really wanted to add color. I'm gonna grab my green and let's see. I'm just gonna draw some fun little lines. And the fun thing about painting is, specifically with abstraction, is all I'm looking for here is the impression of a stem. I don't need it to be exactly what I want it to be. In fact, sometimes I prioritize what might pictorially look better, if that makes sense. So I actually didn't like that. Hold on. Paper towel to the rescue yet again. Okay, I'm gonna do little circles. And I'm gonna pick that guy up because I really liked that white space in between and I messed that up. I'm gonna pick that guy back up. See? Not too bad. That's fine. That's why we don't gotta worry. So I'm gonna go back in here. In there and put my stems back in. I'm doing that thing with my wrist that I just told you not to do. And that's okay. Still not feeling these stems. I don't know what it is. Let me go ahead and draw that down. I think it's that the stems are too wide and the flowers don't encompass the wideness that the stems require. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build out my flowers so that there's a little bit more wideness there because reworking my stems just isn't working for me. Yeah, this looks a lot better. I'm very, very happy with how this is coming out in comparison to the first. And anytime you're starting to feel frustrated, just get loose with it. Just let this nice, free flowing lines come from you. I'm going to close my blinds a little bit. So anytime you're starting to feel frustrated, I would say ask yourself, where can I become looser with my painting? Where can I allow more? Because that's where the frustration's happening. It's you fighting with the final image that your painting is becoming. And that's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help anybody. So you're going to have to find some freedom inside your painting. And remind yourself, I am not here painting to make something look perfect or be right or something like that. I'm painting just because art and creativity is a natural faucet of being human. And it's a requirement if I want to be a happy human. So let's paint some damn teacups. It's not no life or death situation here, you know what I mean? So just allow yourself to have that moment of freedom. So now I'm going to color in my teacup. So I've mentioned a top secret teacup technique previously. My top secret teacup technique, so to say, is just how much I love teacups. Either that, or if you're talking technically, just being free inside. So I have like this one line that defines my teacup, and then I color it in with some blue. And then I define the blue with more pigment around the edge. I guess if you want to qualify my teacup technique, that's what it would be. And just allowing enough freedom to come. Like, this is all about just existing freely. Tazo has some feedback. Forever the critic. Alrighty. See, now my art studio is starting to brighten up. Like, at first I was like, wow, it's so dark in here compared to the lighting stuff. I think it's because it's getting closer to winter, so the sun doesn't rise as soon anymore or something like that. I don't know if that's how it works, but it's how I imagine it works. Yeah, there we go. I like that. How about a little bit on our teacup? Or not our teacup, our tea pourer. What is that called? Teapot. That's what it's called. And notice I'm just letting myself be as free as possible. Because life is not supposed to be that intense. If it's ever that intense, you're doing it wrong. I shouldn't say doing it wrong, because there is no right or wrong, right? We're all just here floating through a rock on Earth. So there's no point in doing it wrong. There we go. I like that. I like it. I'm tired of us I'm not tired of this. I am very happy with it. Ooh, notice how this orange just really makes that blue brighten up. This is called using complementary colors, and I did it on accident, but I am vibing with it, so I'm gonna keep it. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. Do I want more of that orange or do I want to use more of the red? So at this point in time, I'm considering the concept of that dominant color again. I want about 70 to 80% of my painting to be in this dominant color. So if I add too much of this orange, that magic is going to go away. I'm going to keep the magic. So I'm going to go back to my dominant color and kind of shade in these napkins here. Oh, you know what I almost forgot about is those little flowers on the table. I gotta give them their stems. That's what I gotta do. Now. Now which way is this stem going to go? This one is clearly going to go this way. I'm going to put this one this way. There we go. I like that. And now I'm going to put something in these picture frames, probably in my dominant color. Just some little splishity splashes. Some little splishities. Alrighty, now I ask myself, is it done? I think so. I think I'm done with this guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign him. Because with the AI nowadays, you gotta take pride in that this is handmade. Let's go ahead, I'll sign him here. There we go. And there you have it. A nice little teacup painting. What more could you ask for? I could ask for nothing more. That's the video for today. Thank you for painting some teacups with me. I personally had a lot of fun. Let's take a look at all the teacups we made. This guy. Let's take a look at all these teacups. Look at this teacup. This guy is honestly a little sad. I didn't like him, and that's okay. Oh yeah, wasn't I gonna add the words? It's okay, I don't like him. I'm not gonna work on him anymore. If you don't like things, you can just keep on going. So that's what this is. We just kept on going. You'll kind of notice that like confidence picks up the more and more, the longer that I painted for. And the same thing will happen with you, for sure. That's why it sometimes makes me very sad when people make one painting and they're like, I don't like it. It's like, make another. I promise you, the second, third, and fourth painting will progressively get better. You'll be more comfortable with your material. It'll just, the picture that you paint is a reflection of the enjoyment you have on the inside, in my opinion. And the more that you do it, the more you remember that. The more you remember, I'm just here to make some colors on a flat surface, you know? So if you get so fixated on, I have one sheet of paper, I have one shot to make this right. No, you don't. You're not gonna have fun, I promise. So get several sheets of paper and practice just starting over, because at the end of this tunnel is a painting like this. I'm just saying. If you enjoyed the video today, definitely hit the like button and subscribe to this channel to see more videos just like this one. If you're interested in collecting the piece that I created today, it will soon be listed in my shop, so hopefully that'll be in the description for you to grab. Either way, spending any amount of time here on this channel with me is a gift. I truly do consider it a gift, and for that, this humble artist says thank you.